You know, if you're getting ready to sell your home here in the Denver suburbs, you've probably thought through which upgrades are going to be worth it. New flooring, maybe fresh paint, maybe even new appliances. And those things can help. They really can. But in the market we're in right now, I think sellers need to slow down before they spend a dime, because the buyers today are looking at homes differently than they used to. They're not just picturing themselves in the space with the paint color and the layout and whether the kitchen feels right. They're also looking under the hood, or as we like to say in real estate, under the roof, and in the basement, and in the crawl space, and everywhere else most of us don't exactly hang out. And the upgrades that actually get you an offer, well, they might not be the ones that you expect. So if buyers aren't falling for the space anymore, what exactly are they looking for underneath it? Turns out it depends a lot on who's buying. Why buyers are more cautious than they used to be. I'm seeing two very different kinds of buyers right now, and oddly enough, they end up worried about the same things, just for different reasons. Some buyers are stretching just to get into the home in the first place. They put everything into the down payment and the closing costs, and they just don't have an extra $15,000 sitting in savings if something major was to go out 6 months after closing. And then there are the buyers who are further along. Maybe they're the ones looking to simplify, maybe moving for an easier next chapter. They usually do have the money, but it's not really the point for them either. If they're leaving a home to get away from the upkeep, the last thing they want is a new one that hands them a project list on day one. I had a buyer, I'll just call him Sam, who almost walked away from a home last year over the furnace. And it wasn't even during the inspection that it got to him. He walked into the mechanical room during our tour and saw how old the furnace was and got quiet. Turns out he'd just gone through replacing a furnace for a friend a few months earlier, and he knew the cost, and he knew how disruptive it was, and he wasn't in a hurry to sign up for that again himself. That's the shift. It's not really, do I like this house anymore? It's, what am I going to have to deal with once I move in, and can I actually handle it? Or do I even want to? And here's the part that catches sellers off guard. That question isn't about money. Even buyers that could easily afford to replace a furnace or a roof don't necessarily want to spend the first few months of their home ownership doing it or any other large project. So if buyers are quietly asking themselves that question the second they walk in, the sellers have to ask a different one too. Not what did this house do for us, but what is this house going to say to the next person? Two, what top dollar homes are actually giving buyers. Here's what I think a lot of sellers get stuck on, and I understand why. You've lived in the home for years, it's worked for you, the furnace runs, the roof hasn't leaked. Everything is fine, you know it because you've lived with it. But it worked for us, and it's ready for the next owner? Well, those are two different things. The homes getting top dollar in the Denver suburbs right now aren't always the flashiest ones. They're the ones where the big stuff has clearly been handled. Newer roof, serviced furnace, updated electrical, sewer scope that comes back clean, a sump pump that works, records that show the home's been maintained regularly, not just lived in. That doesn't mean you need to replace everything before you list, but it does mean understanding the difference between two things buyers are weighing without even realizing. There's the home with potential, the one where the bones are good, but you can tell you'd be taking on the previous owner's to-do list the day you get the keys. And then there's the home that gives the buyer confidence, where they can look around and think, I'm not walking into somebody else's problem. I'm just going to be able to move in. Buyers aren't necessarily choosing the prettiest house. They're choosing the one that doesn't feel like it comes with strings attached. And that's really what getting top dollar for your home in the Denver metro area comes down to today. It's not the home with the most potential. It's the home a buyer trusts enough to stop doing project math in their head and just say yes to the address. So if buyers are quietly choosing confidence over potential, the real question for you as a seller isn't what should I update? It's what's actually creating the doubt in the first place. Fix the hesitation first. Here's where I think sellers can save themselves both money and stress. Before you spend $1 on anything, ask yourself, if a buyer was to walk into my home today, what would make them pause? Is it the age of my systems, the furnace, water heater, AC? Is it the non-functional attic fan? Is it the very old electrical system that's nowhere near today's safety codes? Is it something that would show up on an inspection report and immediately scream, expensive? Is it deferred maintenance that's been sitting untouched for a while? You know, the kind that's easy to stop noticing when it's your own house. Because here's the thing about paint and flooring and light fixtures, they help. They really do. Those make a home look cared for. But fresh paint doesn't erase a 25-year-old furnace, even if it's still working. New light fixtures don't make an outdated electrical panel feel any less worrisome. Cosmetic updates help a home show better. However, they don't always remove the actual reason a buyer hesitates. So before you start with the pretty stuff, it's worth asking a trusted real estate agent or even a home inspector to walk through your home with you and flag what's likely to raise concerns with the buyer when they look at your home. That's usually time and possibly money much better spent than a kitchen refresh nobody asked for. Now, if there's something you can take away from this, it's that getting top dollar for your home isn't about doing the most upgrades. It's about doing the right upgrades. Buyers aren't walking through your home hoping to find potential. They're hoping to find confidence. Confidence that this home is the right choice for them and a safe and comfortable place to live. A place where they can stop doing project math in their head and just say yes to the address. That doesn't mean you ignore the paint and the flooring and perhaps some staging. It just means you don't let those be the only things you do to attract the right buyer for your house. And before you spend any money getting your home ready, there's a question worth asking yourself. Are you fixing this home because you plan to sell, or are you trying to make it work for the next stage of your life? I made a video on that exact question, and I'll link it for you right here for you to watch next. Hi, if we haven't met, my name's Peggy Dursthoff with Live Denver Suburbs, powered by HomeSmart, and I help homeowners across the Denver metro suburbs make smart real estate decisions without pressure and without regret. Thank you so much for watching, and I'll see you on the next video.